Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Monday, October 3, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're having a Time for Change call this Wednesday night around 9 p.m. Eastern. What's the main reason that we experience suffering? Ignorance. You take the word ignore, add a little dance to it, you get ignorance. When we ignore the truth of our infinite being, our ignorance expands and soon transfers us onto the path of suffering. Now, to transcend your ignorance, find spiritual freedom in your life again, the intention for a deeper awareness is needed. We must choose to welcome the most profound state of consciousness we can imagine by simply opening up to our own consciousness. We can release anything instantly that would make us suffer. Nothing more than pure awareness is needed to transcend this illusion and rediscover the liberating truth of who we are. Each moment of our lives has the potentiality to become the most liberating, healing, enlightening experience we can handle. The more open, ready, and willing we are to receive something magnificent, the easier and faster the magic comes flooding in. When we are ready for enlightenment, it will find us. We don't have to strive for it. In fact, the harder we work for it, the further it moves away from us. Just make it your priority to totally relax and enjoy your life. Fully surrender to your real self. Explore who you truly are, what you really want, and what your purpose on earth actually is on a spiritual level. Life is wild. Love is wild. God is absolutely wild. Those who are wild always reach enlightenment. Osho. This is a toughie for a lot of people, is to be open to the new and release your ego's need to be right about anything. Being right can be the hardest ego trip to get rid of, to get off of, and yet causes a major amount of suffering. If the ego believes it is wrong about any one little thing, it starts feeling insecure that we basically could be wrong about everything in our entire life. Whatever the mind believes is true always becomes our reality in that moment. The colored lens we perceive our world with today becomes how this world tends to appear for us tomorrow. If everyone around us, from birth to death, says that life is this hard, painful, and unfair experience, and we believe them, then how will we ever learn how to relax, let go, trust, and enjoy living in this amazing universe? If we think we must fight to get what we want in this life, we end up manifesting a very serious, challenging ride. To experience love, enlightenment, and freedom, we must choose to step over our ego and be open to a completely new experience of this life in each moment. Our inner and outer world is one massive playground. Learn how to be free and have fun with your life. Think of each new day as your chance to step on a very interesting and commercial, comical life stage. You can choose any hat to wear, lens to see through, or fascinating role you desire to play. Let go of doing and practice simply being. It has become abnormal for people to just relax. Wouldn't you say? Sit still. Be silent and alone. Everybody's got to be doing something. You ever notice that? Everybody's got to be doing something every split second. Doaholics have become the social norm in our society today. Many people avoid meditation because they think it is boring, don't have time for it, or feel they have failed at it, trying to quiet their mind after a few random attempts. When we realize that all of our suffering, chaos, and illness in this life is caused by our inability to quiet the mind, we will spend more time practicing being present and less invested in doing something, thinking it will take us somewhere better than being here. Eventually, with enough time spent practicing being present to the now, we discover our real infinite nature inside. We realize we are spiritual beings and have everything we were looking for and so much more. The greatest mystics in history all discovered enlightenment when they were simply being quiet, relaxed, fully in the here now. When their big awakening happened, they were not trying to do anything. This is the great mystery of life. And mastery of the mind is by far the greatest achievement mankind can ever have. The experience of being here now, feeling one with the infinite, all-powerful, and omniscient universal God force is enough. It is empowering, highly enlightening, to redefine all those old definitions of what it means to get somewhere special for life. Being free from our family's unconscious myths and society's deep, ignorant programming. This society on this planet contains deep, ignorant programming. When we were a child, what was communicated to us about enlightenment? Anything? Did anybody have a clue what enlightenment was or how to experience an enlightened state of bliss? This is where we kind of went afoul. The society is totally ignorant to bliss and the joy. Did anyone ever show us how to open our chakras, meditate, or communicate with God? We're not talking about the religious God. Most likely everyone around you was more or less spiritually lost and then telling you what they believed would make you happy, loved, and successful in this life. They wanted the best for you, yet ended up communicating to you how to be unhappy and unenlightened through their actions, belief system, and behavior. So we just pass it on. We just boom, 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 boom. Pass it on, pass it on, pass it on. If you go back and think about your childhood, what do you remember was the typical standard story you were told? Give or take a few words. Does that make you feel like a failure, isolated, unloved, or a sense of separation? What belief system did you inherit from your family that created massive limits on how you feel about yourself and life today, in this very now? You may have heard some messages like, you need an education. You got to have an education, right? You don't have an education, you're going to end up being a bum. You got to have it. You need an education. To become somebody, there just isn't enough time for that, right? Don't have time for that. Can't do that right now. Don't have time for it. We cannot afford, this is a big one that I believe most families, most, experience from their parents. It was, we cannot afford that. Don't touch that. Can't afford it. No, can't afford that. You cannot be, do, or have XYZ. You cannot. You cannot be this or that, or have this or that. You're just too much of a blah, blah, blah. Identified with our family's limiting belief system, we may not be here, see, if we did not become identified with our family's limiting belief system, we may not be here. If we didn't think like they did, they might have stopped feeding us, pushed us out of the tribe. We needed to think small, do what we were told, obey the one in charge, in order to remain accepted, loved, and alive. From the moment we were born, we all received the idea that this unenlightened state of life was the norm. You may have seen all the insane world problems on the nightly TV news and thought that this was how the entire world operated, and mass suffering was just the way things were. A lot of people believe that. In this very moment, right now, on this planet. As we became teenagers, we either rebelled or became assimilated into the unenlightenment system and fell deeper into the story of separation. The more we accepted or rebelled from our community, the greater our feelings of lack, isolation, and struggle grew inside. Being surrounded by unenlightened people was an enormous lose-lose situation. To make matters worse, we were forced to attend, and it's that way today. It's the same. If you notice, maybe it even degrades. To make matters worse, we were forced to attend some jail-like education system, which worked about 3% of our brain's potentiality and was designed to churn once brilliant, creative kids through a social formatting grinder so they become hard workers for the system. We were taught wonderful lies that everyone believed to be true, like how a human life expectancy should only be 75 to 100 years old, when really our DNA can last at least 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 years. We were told that we would have to work really, really, really hard to have a home, limited energy, resources, food, knowledge, and power. We were never taught to rebel against authority, think freely, independently, or even consider the possibility of becoming spiritually enlightened. The school system made it illegal to teach children how to find a deep inner connection with the infinite source. It was not important to learn how to meditate, heal your body through your breath, how to make tantric love, master your mind through totally quietness and stillness, enjoy all our emotions, know the infinite truth of who we are, or how to achieve absolute inner freedom and bliss. The society all around us is still hypnotizing adults and their children to believe that success is all about achieving a higher level of status, money, and career. Our poor education system is still in its infancy. Simply has never had a large dose of enlightenment, so it doesn't know any better. There are many awakened beings in this world today who know the truth that real success in life is defined by how liberated, spiritually rich, loving, and enlightened we are as a human being. This world is slowly waking up, one person at a time. People are beginning to see that happiness is not something you can attain from striving to achieve the right income, status, career, marriage, or diploma. Striving to reach these things will only distract us from walking our spiritual path. Discover the most rewarding life experience of them all. Remember what limited ideas that you received from your family or school system were their limitations and absolutely not yours. When you stop and give back those beliefs, you can reclaim your spiritual freedom again within yourself. The limiting beliefs handed down from your family run deep in your blood, and it will take every ounce of awareness inside you to see them. Freedom will occur when they are fully seen, felt into, and released from your mental, emotional body, as well as your subconscious mind. We must choose to forgive all of these people of their unenlightened programming if we are ever to be fully free. It is all karmic, and nobody is to blame. They simply were not taught by their parents how to live in a constant state of wonder and amazement in their lives while doing daily tasks like changing diapers, cutting the grass, going to work, paying their bills. When we forgive them and see how they were not raised by fully self-realized, self-actualized, enlightened beings, we can easily forgive ourselves for the limiting beliefs and negative feelings about ourselves that we inherited. Be outrageous and stop hiding from your spiritual power in some safe little fishbowl. That's how many of us. We're afraid of our power. You know, we put ourselves in this little fishbowl or box, whatever you want to call it. We can often hide from our life mission and spiritual purpose in our mind. Thoughts are safe, while real-life experiences out there seem dangerous, scary, and unsafe. Life is inherently insecure because death is always potentially around the next corner. We might find it easier to not take risks and to go for our big dreams in life for fear of getting hurt or lost in the wild ocean. When we only choose to stay safe, comfy, and basically dead inside our little comfortable fishbowls of old habits, we only do the things that once gave a sense of confidence and security and stop growing completely. There's a lot of people on the planet like that. They stop growing. They root themselves into their little comfort zone, safe, secure, and they stop growing. Life is this beautiful natural chaos with a divine cosmic structure. Our lives are this daily adventurous roller coaster ride that we need to learn how to enjoy. Life is meant to be fun because we just don't know exactly how things will turn out, do we? We won't know until the last second how we will respond to what someone says or how we'll make the most important decision that we need to make. Each experience in our life is here for our spiritual growth. Each boring, exciting, and normal experience is meant to expand us, help us see and feel this entire ocean around us now, and jump out of our safe little fishbowl and swim in the ocean of existence. It's easy to do. Simply stop thinking about your life and actually start enjoying the one you're living, feeling, and breathing in now. Embracing and loving every fear that arises. The less fear we are holding in the body, the more we can relax and open ourselves up to experiencing a more expansive, enlightened state of consciousness. We know that all fears are simply emotionally contracted thoughts invented by a mind that still believes it is disconnected from the source. It's good to know that the word fear, as we all know, stands for false evidence appearing real. To transcend any fear, we must first choose to discover what we are deeply afraid of. We can access any fear by opening ourselves up to another person intimately in conversation, letting the other peer into you. Soon you will be able to see deeper into yourself and understand exactly what you are running from in your life. Once you know what you are running away from, run towards it and welcome it into your heart with a big embrace. This approach will dissolve any fear instantly, and in time, it will be completely released from your body. The more practice that we have in embracing our fears, the easier it becomes to find total relaxation so that we can access our full spiritual connection within our consciousness. How many people in our society, and in the human psyche, are constantly trying to improve and fix themselves? Now, this may seem contradictory to the previous message I just shared, yet it's actually complementary. How often do you find yourself trying to replace your negative thoughts and feelings with positive ones? How much of your life has been spent trying to heal yourself or your mind? Is all the effort and energy you're putting into improving you actually making you relax into the experience that you are already divine, already sacred, deeply lovable, and already connected to the God Source? The result from continuously fixing, improving, and healing yourself is perpetuating the feeling of, I am not okay exactly as I am. Any unconscious self-improvement habit is just another egoic dis-ease. The real problem is not what it appears to be. Go to the root of the matter, which is the dualistic mind, and uproot the entire I'm broken and need to be fixed emotional program. Realize that who you are is neither these negative or positive thoughts, yet the consciousness and awareness behind them. Only through pure awareness will we be able to stop the habit of trying to change, fix, or improve ourselves, and instead surrender deeply into the spiritual sacred core of our being, where self-realization actually is. Enjoying the practice of quieting the incessant, shattering, and repetitive mind. How many people have you come across, or maybe you, at one time or another, I wish this noise would stop. Or my mind's going 1,000,000 miles a second. I wish I could just eliminate that. It's annoying. You see, the mind is a limited conglomeration of ideas and beliefs about who we think we are and what reality is. It behaves much like a computer that is unaware of itself and just spits out information that was programmed into it. The mind is like a machine, so it is not conscious. The mind is like a machine, so it is not conscious. The mind is a horrible master and a wonderful servant. A horrible master, but a wonderful servant. We need to train the mind so that we can use it instead of being used by it. And that's the norm today, being used by the mind. It cannot remain in the present moment. It must keep moving with ideas that engage the past and future to remain in control of you. When we quiet the mind, we do regain control of it. The more we can practice paying attention to the stillness and silence that is behind the chattering mind, the less power the mind has over us, and the less we will get trapped in our limited ego or identity. Now the word E-G-O, ego, is really just an acronym for excluding God's omnipresence. EGO is really just an acronym for excluding God's omnipresence. Through the constant awareness of our ego, we can bypass the mind and access this omnipresent divine spiritual energy that is inside us. We can discover our natural enlightened state. We become aligned with the bigger truth that we already are infinite spiritual beings. We have been given the gift of a limited physical human expression with illusionary challenges that make us grow. When the mind is quiet, we can enjoy this divine play, find real peace with the entire dynamic. We find full acceptance that we are both the ego and spirit, and know all is perfect as it is. Releasing all attachments and aversion to everyone and everything, this is a real tough one for all of us. Releasing all attachments and aversion to everyone and everything. As humans, we tend to get attached to or avoid certain thoughts and feelings we believe will make us happy or unhappy. We get into habits of resisting this life, trying to control our experiences so that we get what we think will only bring us joy, and avoid what makes us happy. We even create these patterns based on what others say, feel, and believe, and ignore our own inner voice and connection. This attachment and avoidance habit manifests because deep down we feel disconnected from our spiritual source. We are still trying to find some form of security by controlling our reality. When we were young, we saw others avoiding what is painful and remaining attached to what is pleasurable, and believed this is how it should be done. This enlightened state shows up when we listen to our heart and stop being attached to or avoiding anything. When we understand that this life is like a pendulum designed to swing and give us both experiences of pain and pleasure, we can transcend them both. By accepting this natural pendulum swing, we become free from being the one who always needs to be in control and running the show. Pain and suffering are just the universe's way of telling us to let go and trust the flow. Let go and trust the flow. The purpose of feeling pain is not to create more suffering, yet for us to wake up and create an immediate new life change. This change is unnecessary, or it is necessary, for you to evolve and eventually drop all identity with your ego trip so you can return to your spiritual source. By allowing yourself to let go of your mind's attachments and aversions You can genuinely enjoy your life again. You then start energetically communicating to this universe that you are abundant, thankful, happy, beautiful, and free. This experience allows us to expand in consciousness and deepen our connection to our infinite source within. One of the biggest tricks ever played on this civilization, if not the biggest, is being free from the illusion that we're separate from the infinite source of love, energy, and connection. That illusion right there. Feeling separate and disconnected from this universe is the unenlightened state. We become enlightened then when we are continuously aware how deeply and intimately connected we already are. Do you see the illusion? We're already deeply connected. We never not have been. We always have been. So the illusion of separation is not an accident or coincidence. This universe is extremely intelligent. Every feeling of separation is needed so that coming spiritually home is that much more amazing. The polarization of separation, unification, breeds a truly juicy, alive, and incredible experience of this life. When we become enlightened, we will see the full illusion and know how to stop manifesting another experience of loss, failure, or separation again. This illusion that we are not connected to the divine is karmic. It stems from a lifetime of our mind's attachment and avoidance of limiting ideas of who and what we think we are. Once we untangle ourselves from our fun, sticky karmic mess, we will remember that we were always one energy. One energy. One sea of consciousness. We're always connected with our source. All experiences of suffering simply drop away when we pay closer attention to who we truly are. All suffering comes from a lack of awareness of our divinity. Once we stop forgetting our eternal abundant nature, we begin stepping forward into a life overflowing with synchronicity, ease, grace, love, and knowing our divine unlimited nature. Waking up is as simple and easy as remembering that the sun is always on, always bright, and always shining somewhere. Know that who you truly are is already awake, enlightened, loving, and free. Already. When it comes down to it, we already have everything we need inside of us to experience all the love, joy, happiness we could ever desire. All efforting to get anywhere better than here is simply divine misguidance. This universe is already amazing. We are already amazing. And this moment is totally amazing. By sitting in awe of this amazingness that is already here now, we wake up to the spiritual immensity of our being. We suddenly stop playing small and all of our suffering and continuously step into the vastness of our totality. The pathway into enlightenment is a perpetual journey for all of us into the now. This wonderful yet treacherous journey involves getting to know ourselves very intimately, gently, and spiritually. When we break free from the hard, cold, calculating mind, we realize who we truly are is love itself. We then find out our life's spiritual mission and sole purpose is to radiate this love everywhere we are. When we know our real nature is the divine itself, we become desireless, selfless, and effortlessly remember how deeply intimate and infinitely connected we already are to the spiritual source inside it all. Nothing is lacking in any of us. We cannot be improved upon. People who try and improve you are destroying you, and they are the real mischief makers. There are so many improvers in the world. That's why the world is in such a chaos. There are too many people trying to improve you. Don't allow anybody to improve you. You are already the last word. You're not only the alpha, you are the omega also. You are whole, complete, and perfect. Even if you feel imperfect, the imperfection is perfect. Do not worry about it. It will look strange to others if you say that your perfection is also perfect. You don't need to. That's ego mind-driven if you feel compelled to. Nothing is lacking in you. Nothing. Yet the fact is that we appear imperfect not because we are imperfect, but because we are a growing perfection. We think perfection cannot evolve, because what we mean by perfection is that which has come to its last growth. This definition of perfection is dead. God is perfect because God lacks nothing. God goes on growing from one perfection to another. The growth continues. God is evolution, not moving from imperfection to perfection, but from perfection to more perfection to still more perfection. Okay. We have everything we will ever need within us. Your ego mind will try to say, no, don't go over there. We can't talk when you go over there because I can't go over there, which is the now. You know, reflecting upon your life and who you are is not about judging yourself or labeling yourself in any way. More about taking a massive inventory on what makes you happy and what doesn't satisfy you any longer. Inner reflection and deep spiritual consideration helps us to realize more clearly what it is that we want and don't want to manifest and attract in our lives. It helps us to know ourselves better, respect ourselves more, which makes our path easier to walk upon each day. Finding a crystal clear distinction between what do we want and what don't we want is vital for our heart's contentment and ability to relax fully into our body so that we can deeply enjoy this amazing human ride. And as we are reflecting on our life and what we've done so far this year, remember one thing, that what you did, every action you took, has everything and nothing to do with who you are. On one hand, the attitude you had each day towards yourself in life greatly affected every single movement and intention that you acted upon every day. Everything you did and manifested in this world came from the state of mind you were currently abiding in. On another level, a deeper level, the pure spiritual essence, who you truly are, is unfazed, untainted by anything you did last year or could ever do in this material world. Your soul is always innocent, bright, and beautiful, and perfect at the very core. Nothing you could ever do or was done to you ever changes the fact that you are a spiritual being intimately connected to God for eternity. This is the deepest spiritual truth of your being and should always be respected when exploring any deep consideration about who you are. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us up.
Take an easy, slow breath in through the nose. Easy and slow breath in, out from the mouth. Remain still. You know you're an awakening being when in the midst of chaos and suffering, you are completely at ease. To arrive at this divine destination for 30 minutes today, meditate on a vast space of nothingness all around you. Do this in complete silence. Just imagine that you are somewhere way out in the universe, and for billions of miles in all directions, there is emptiness. Put on an eye mask, earplugs if necessary, so you don't see or hear anything. This spacious space is always available inside you. You truly want to awaken the spiritual experience in your life? I invite you to dive into this spacious, silent place for as long as you can today. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, fall and morning. We will return here Tuesday, October 24, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on within you or outside of you.